Wait a minute, just stop. Have you ever actually stopped to think about how much waste you produce on a daily basis? Yeah, of course you're insanely busy. You have papers to file and children to feed, errands to run. But in the midst of all the hectic day-to-day activities, you'd be surprised to know how much garbage you produce and the startling statistics that you contribute to. You might think that you don't have time to change your habits. You do what you have to do and it works for you, but if you actually knew what you were contributing to, you might want to rethink that. Did you know that the average American produces about 4.5 pounds of garbage every day? That might not seem like a lot, but with today's population, it adds up much quicker than you'd guess. According to the United States Census Bureau, which can tell you both the nation's and the world's population at any given time, there are almost 315 million people living in the United States today. If you multiply this by the amount of trash that each person supposedly creates every day, you find that America alone produces 1,417,500,000 pounds of trash each day. That's also 708,750 tons, a pretty big number. So here's a few examples. This amount of waste adds up to the weight of about 3,500 blue whales, which is the largest living animal alive today. This weight can be compared to as much as 18,000 tractor trailers, or 2 times the weight of the Empire State Building. Now think a little bit more. If that's just how much garbage is produced in America per day, consider how much garbage is produced by the entire population of the world every day by using this number. There are about 7 billion people in the world today, and if you do the math and multiply that by 4.5 pounds per person, that's 31.5 billion pounds of trash produced in a single day. And America isn't even the largest producer of daily waste, so the number is even higher than that. That is a lot of garbage. Not many people think about how much garbage is produced daily, but even fewer consider where this massive amount of garbage winds up. About 82.9 million tons of waste is recycled a year. That seems like a pretty hefty number, but unfortunately, that means only 33.2 of the total weight of waste produced is reused. The rest is dealt with in other, less clean ways. A little over 12% is incinerated. Incineration of waste releases harmful toxins into the environment, which not only affect the quality of the air that we're breathing, but the health of the overall environment. Many attribute these toxins to issues such as global warming and holes in the ozone layer, which are both issues that pose a very serious threat to our health in the very near future. Air pollution is a large factor in global pollution, contributing to 3 different types of pollution that plague our society today. But what about the rest of the waste? You may wonder where the other 54% of our waste winds up. The rest of the waste is dumped into landfills. This means over 135 million tons of garbage is haphazardly thrown into landfills every year, destroying both the habitats of animals as well as the health of the overall ecosystem, affecting humans as well. There are 2 types of landfills: sanitary landfills, and there are also municipal solid waste landfills. Sanitary landfills use a clay barrier to keep the trash separate from the environment. As you can see in the diagram, each daily deposition is covered by a layer of compact soil. Municipal landfills have more layers. On the bottom, there is also a clay layer and a plastic liner like in the sanitary landfill. But on top of that, however, there's also geotextile mat, gravel, and soil. The issue with landfills is that the layers will continue to pile up, and although the layers on the bottom will age, the plastics and the styrofoam materials we've been using won't decompose for tens of thousands of years. Matter of fact, it can be argued that plastics that have been made with polyethylene terephthalate, or PET, will never decompose. The bacteria that cause biodegradation simply will not consume the plastic. Eventually, the landfills will have to expand, taking away more and more space that can be used for better things. Creating more space for landfills requires cutting down trees, which help to clean the air in the first place. Another downside of this method of waste management. Landfills are a huge contributor to soil pollution, another factor in the three main sectors. The third and final part of our global pollution is water pollution, which is the most dangerous kind of pollution as our lives revolve around water so much. About 780 million people lack access to clean water. This is 2.5 times the size of the current population of America. This means no clean showers and no drinking water. When people don't have access to clean water, they have no choice but to drink the contaminated water. This means they could be consuming anything from oil runoff to fecal matter, which makes diseases and viruses inevitable. Runoff is a huge contributor to water pollution. Every time you simply throw your trash on the ground, it is guaranteed to end up in the water. Millions of people die from not having access to clean water every year because of others who are too careless to properly dispose of their own waste.
An ever-increasing problem in our society is the introduction of pollutants into our stormwater. Pollution of our waterways occurs when foreign objects or substances enter the drainage path. Common trash, such as cans, bottles, cups, cigarette butts, and bags, are a major pollutant in stormwater runoff. This trash is all too commonly discarded on our streets and then make their way into our streams and rivers. However, it is not just trash that we must concern ourselves with. Our vehicles are another major source of stormwater pollution. Chemical pollutants such as oil, antifreeze, detergents, and cleansers can enter into the drainage path, causing damage. These chemicals flow into our water systems and create a large threat to the wildlife. Natural pollutants are also a large cause of concern for the pollution of our stormwater. These pollutants include such items as leaves, garden clippings, and animal droppings.
4.5 pounds might not sound like much, but when multiplied over the population of the world, the effects are hard-hitting. It only takes a little bit of effort by everyone to make a big change. Simple things like recycling can cut the rate of waste production in half. Because although you might not feel the effects of your waste pollution, the rest of the world is suffering.